Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. So Helldivers 2 released their first patch notes. We're going to go over everything. A lot of people are a little disappointed on Twitter. There are some things that were nerfed, some things that were buffed. Let's get into it. So there's a major update now. We're going to have planetary hazards that are now being active. Many planets now have additional environmental challenges that will appear at random while you are deployed, from fire tornadoes to meteor showers and many more. That sounds very interesting. Adding a little difficulty. If Hell Dive difficulty wasn't already difficult enough, now you might be doing well and get meteor showered, or fire tornado will come and burn you to a crisp. So that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to checking that out. Balancing. So now eradicate missions. The eradicate missions now require more kills and enemies spawn more often. Apparently, the time to complete the mission was previously shorter than intended and should now usually take twice as long to complete. A lot of people were farming those, and I'm not sure if that had anything to do with why they kind of nerfed how well and how quick you could do it, but now it's going to take a little bit longer for you to do these, so maybe it'll in turn balance it out to the point where you might not just look to dive into those if you want to kind of level up quick and things like that. So we'll see how that works out. Now, primary, secondary, and support weapons. Here's where some things, I don't know if they're right or wrong. From their point of view, they probably have a lot of data, and this is why they did what they did. But first off, the breaker. Now, the breaker is basically the meta, and right now, the decreased magazine capacity is going from 16 to 13. So every magazine you have, you're going to have 3 less rounds in it, and you're going to have an increased recoil from 30 to 55. To me, those numbers are arbitrary. 30 to 55, you just have to see what it feels like when it recoils. The railgun, decreased armor penetration in safe mode. So now the railgun is basically, they are forcing you to play with the railgun in unsafe mode. There's a decreased damage against durable enemy parts as well. So if the railgun felt like the meta for beating a lot of these enemies that had armor, now it seems like they're making it even harder at this point, which I'm not sure why. On the harder difficulties, the game felt good. If you had 4 teammates that are playing well together, they're communicating together, they have a good synergy between the weapons that they use, the stratagems that they have, the game felt good, in my opinion. And we're going to see how how they're trying to balance it here. Maybe they're trying to get people to play with another weapon other than the breaker, something else other than the railgun, or to have it to where you actually have to I'm not really sure what they're doing with this, because the railgun seemed like the way to go if you wanted to beat the chargers, the heavies, and to really blast through their armor and take them down. Do they want us to do basically the old school way before any of us had any of these unlocked, to where we kind of circled around them and shot them in the butt? I don't know, pause, but we'll see what's up with that. Flamethrower, increased damage per second by 50%. So it's like, do they want people to start taking the flamethrower? Do they want one person in the party to have a flamethrower? I'm not sure, but increased damage per second by 50%. That's a lot. We'll see what happens with the meta at this point with the flamethrower. The laser cannon, increased damage against durable enemy parts, increased armor penetration, improved ergonomics. So we'll see what's going on now with the laser cannon as well. Maybe these are weapons that they want to see more people start using. You nerf one meta, you just create another. I don't know how they're going to try to remedy all of this and fix it. But moving forward, I like the way things were working, in my opinion. But, like I said before, what do I know? The Punisher, increased total ammo capacity from 40 to 60, increased stagger force, increased damage from 40 per bullet to 45 per bullet. The Breaker, spray and pray, increased armor penetration, increased fire rate from 300 to 330, increases number of pellets from 12 to 16 per shot, decreased magazine size from 32 to 26. So these are some interesting, balancing decisions that they have here, because they're increasing armor penetration, so that's good. They're increasing the fire rate, make it a little more fast, maybe get it on par with some things. Increase the number of pellets, so you could actually blast these enemies, but they're decreasing the magazine size. So this is a weird balance to the Breaker, spray and pray. I was assuming they would try to make their spray and pray, get it up to par with the breaker, and maybe try to meta it out somehow. But I'm really not sure, especially with the magazine size. A lot of people are, I feel like, ammo starved towards the end game, or just in general throughout the duration of your time on the planet, especially in the harder difficulties. You have to really get together with your teammates and make sure the resupplies come in when you could all take a little. We'll see how it works out. Stratagems, energy shield backpack. A lot of this was the meta for a lot of people. The guys I run with, they'll take this sometimes. Sometimes they'll take something else. I never really used the energy shield pack myself, but the increased delay before recharging, so they're kind of nerfing that into the ground to the point where you are going to get beat up a lot more because it's going to take a little more time to recharge. So the 380 and 120 orbital barrages. This, I think, is a good fix because the increased duration of the bombardment and the decreased spread. Run with some people in the community coming out with the 380. You have to be really far for this to be useful. When he'd call out, yo, 380's coming down, everybody just ran and got the hell out of there. So maybe now, especially with the size of a lot of the bases, maybe the 380 was a little too spread out. You end up hitting things that just aren't there. It seemed like maybe a useless stratagem, in my opinion. Maybe a lot of people just weren't taking it at all. So maybe the decreased spread will help people utilize this for those large bases, especially for the robots. They have some very, very large bases that the 380 probably with the decreased spread could actually maybe become a meta stratagem. We'll see. In my opinion, I probably still won't use it. The laser, the rail cannon where you could, take out a heavy with one shot. These to me still seem like the meta and the way to go. Anything other than that, I'm really not probably going to need myself or use, but we'll see. Maybe I'll try out the 380, see how it feels on those large bases. You guys let me know what you think about that. Some of the fixes. So they fixed armor rating values not reducing damage as intended. So finally, when you go in game and you want to run an actual loadout, it's going to matter now. So the armor rating values will matter if you're running a high armor instead of the low armor with speed and maybe grenades or stems and things like that. So now if you want to actually maybe be a tank, you can be. We have to go in game. Well, I have to go in game, but we all have to go in game and see how it actually works and if it feels good. Because sometimes I feel like losing speed for maybe an extra hit or two is not going to be worth it. You really are going to have to feel like you're a tank and you're going to be a force to be reckoned with in this armor if you're going to lose speed. That's just my opinion. Fix certain bug holes, including stalker nests, unnecessarily hard to destroy. I wonder if this means if you get a grenade anywhere close to it, the entire thing is going to get blown up. I know a lot of times I'll throw a grenade from far. It'll land right around the hole, right in it. Boom, it won't blow up unless it goes directly in. We'll see maybe if this changes. I'm going to have to test some things out. Fixed anti-aliasing toggle, not working on PS5. I play on PC. You guys let me know how that works. Balanced lighting across all planets to solve cases where the game was too dark. So this might be good for some of you. Improved flashlight efficacy. So maybe the flashlight now at this point, well, maybe it'll be a lot brighter, but I don't know. It's kind of weird because they're going to balance lighting across the planets to solve cases where the game was too dark, but then improve the flashlight. Kind of feels like, are we even going to need the flashlight at a certain point? Who knows? Increased visibility during sand rain, whether on Erida Prime. There are some planets where I feel like it really adds the ambience and the immersion with the weather, and you can't see. You got to look for the mushrooms to see better, or you got to look for the factories to destroy to see better. So I don't know. We'll see how that works out on just Erida Prime. Apparently, I don't really know what planet that is. I don't have them memorized. You guys let me know if you have it off the top of your head. Updated tutorial materials and lighting. Improved cases where some materials could look blurry if lighting graphic setting was set to low. That's interesting. Fixed timing issues that could occur in the Extract E710 primary objective. Change button interaction behavior for buttons in bunker POIs. Helldivers will now let go of the button after holding it for a few seconds. Oh, okay, so maybe you don't have to press it yourself again. Fix some cases of large assets floating if the ground beneath them was blown up. Oh, I've seen that. Wow, if that gets fixed, I remember Ghost Recon, because they had so many things moving around the map, and I guess things were random or procedurally generated here and there. some things would blow up and they'd still be floating. If they are able to fix this quick, that would be really cool. I know what they're talking about too. Helldivers staying next to ICBMs during launch will get properly toasty with a chance of not so spontaneous combustion. Guys, why would you stand next to there? I would. I want to see if I get, flamed up, and that would be cool to see. Fix unthrowable snowballs after ragdolling. Fix being able to use grenades after drowning. Camera no longer locked on the player's own corpse and blocking spectator mode. I've had that bug. That's cool if it's finally gone and fixed. Helldivers now take damage from fire. Gas etc. generated by other players. There you go. So gas grenades, don't gas your own teammates. Armor no longer stretches when dismembered. I think I know what they're talking about that. Sometimes you would kill a bug and it would stretch across the map. It would be an interesting bug. Known issues. These are issues that were either introduced by this patch and are being worked on, or are from a previous version and have not yet been fixed. The game may crash after dropping several high-powered stratagems in succession. Picking up items from caches may cause characters to freeze in place for an extended period of time. That sucks. Picking up items from bunkers and caches in quick succession may render one of the items unpickable. Players cannot unfriend other players befriended via friend code. That sucks. Players may be unable to select loadout or return the ship when joining multiplayer game session via PS5 activity card. Mission objective HUD displays different numbers for client and host during some missions. Default armor is always shown while viewing the war bond, regardless of the armor that player has equipped. Okay, that's cool. Text chat box display is obstructed by the cinematic letterboxing during extraction. Some text in the HUD UI is missing or not displayed correctly. Players may experience issues where many players attempt to log in or play at the same time. Login rate limiting. Players may become disconnected during play. Various UI issues may appear when the game interacts with servers. Some games may not be joinable by others for a short period of time. Whew. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. So what are you thinking about these patch notes? Obviously, I don't know what I really think about right here, what they're trying to do with the meta, the breaker, the railgun, things like that, the energy shield backpack. I'm not sure how a lot of people are going to take these nerfs. I know a lot of people, myself included, feel like even though developers might think there's a power creep if you just bring everything up to par with what the meta is and let people choose there instead of nerfing things, that's the way to go, instead of what a lot of us think of just, like I said, bringing things up to par, don't nerf anything. But what do we know? We're not developing the game. They probably have a lot more information. I think, in my opinion, the breaker felt balanced as far as it felt like the weapon to take after you unlocked everything, right? Because the game, it has a progression of sorts. So when you start off with something and then you unlock something else, that feels like the meta at that point. And there are different things that might work well. For instance, I forget the gun's name that's on the last page of the war bond. But it shoots like it shoots straight, it shoots true. It's almost like a marksman rifle, but it's for your primary. And I've used it before. I don't have it unlocked. One of the guys who I run with, he was using it. He'd drop it and be like, "Yo, check out this gun." And I'd use it for a little bit. I liked it on the bots, shooting from far, staying back. I think if they balanced it to a way where certain weapons really felt good in certain situations, and then you choose the style of play you want to roll out with for that game, that would be better than just raw numbers and data like, oh, this is too powerful, so we'll drop it. This isn't powerful enough, we'll raise it. It should be more situational at that point. Obviously, with the breaker, when you're in oh shit moments, you want boom, 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 and you're completely destroying these enemies. But we'll see what's up with the railgun. A lot of people, you blast the armor off the chargers, the heavies, and then you shoot those weak spots and you knock them down. Now it's going to be a little harder for people like myself, who I know sometimes I'd like to aim and time something, so I would keep it in safe mode more often than not. And, now basically you're saying the railgun isn't to be played in safe mode, in my opinion, because I use the railgun 9 out of 10 times to shoot heavies, basically, and knock off armor off of these enemies. And if in safe mode it's decreased damage, like what's the point? You got to roll the dice, and you're kind of forcing people to play with that meta at that point. Flamethrower and all these things, it is what it is. We're going to see. We're going to have to get in game. The new meta is going to probably be found by a lot of people. A lot of things might not change. People might still roll out with the breaker weapon and a lot of the things they want. Sometimes I use the marksman rifle. I call it the marksman rifle. But, when I'm fighting the automaton, sometimes I like to stay back as almost like a sniper position and really hit things from far. So, I don't know. We'll see what's up. you guys let me know if you're loving Helldivers, you get in game and figure out what works, what doesn't. Drop a comment down below if you come by the video to see this, and let me know your opinions, if anything, if you haven't played yet and you think how this is going to work out or whatnot. And I appreciate you guys stopping by. This is actually new for the channel. I did this with Ghost Recon for quite a few years. I'll probably keep it up with Helldivers. I'm really enjoying this game, and for what it's worth, I'm probably going to cover it and keep playing it for some time until something else comes along, which even at that point, I might still play this game and maybe try covering it a lot more and getting a lot more content out for it if I can. So anyway, guys, that's all for now. This has been a long video, long enough, and hope you enjoyed it. And let me know down below what you think. All right, guys. All right. All right. So anyway, I'm out of here, guys.